America has entered 2026 with a crisis so silent, so unexpected, that millions of families never saw it coming. Grocery stores, the most basic part of everyday life, are vanishing from entire neighborhoods. Shelves are empty, parking lots abandoned, communities isolated, and families are now driving miles, sometimes hours, just to buy the food they once took for granted. In early 2026, a dangerous trend has accelerated across the country: the collapse of the American grocery system. Inflation may appear to be cooling in government reports, but the truth on the ground tells a very different story. Food prices remain 18 to 22% higher than pre-pandemic. Utility costs are at record levels. Retail insurance has skyrocketed, some cities seeing increases of 60% or more. Crime, shrinkage, and security costs have become unmanageable. And in city after city, major supermarket chains are packing their bags and quietly leaving. This is not a temporary business cycle. This is not an isolated shutdown. This is a national food access emergency. And these are the 12 U.S. cities suffering the worst grocery store collapse in 2026. Seattle, Washington. The hunger gap in a billion-dollar tech city. Seattle enters 2026 as one of the most shocking contradictions in America. A city famous for billion-dollar tech empires, now struggling to feed its own residents. In 2025, Seattle recorded nearly 24 grocery closures, but by March 2026, that number jumped to over 30, including long-established QFC and Safeway locations. Even Amazon Fresh, created in this very city, quietly closed unprofitable branches. Why is this happening? Because costs here have exploded beyond survival. Commercial rent, $50 to $55 per square foot. Electricity for supermarkets, now $36,000 plus per month. Security costs, up 300% since 2020. Insurance premiums, rising 60% plus in 2 years. Seattle's richest neighborhoods, Queen Anne, Capitol Hill, still have boutique stores, but South Seattle, Rainier Valley, and parts of West Seattle are becoming full food deserts. Residents without cars now spend 2 to 3 bus rides an entire afternoon, 7 to 10 mile round trips, just to buy basic groceries. Seattle, one of the wealthiest cities in the world, is learning a dark truth. Even the richest cities can starve from within. 11. St. Louis, Missouri, a city breaking apart. St. Louis enters 2026 facing a collapse that feels less like inflation and more like abandonment. More than a dozen grocery stores closed last year, including Schnucks, Aldi. Independent neighborhood markets. Early 2026 added multiple new shutdowns, especially in North St. Louis. The economics behind the collapse: operating costs up 40% since 2021. Shrinkage losses $7,000 to $11,000 per week. Insurance premiums rising 60% plus multiple zip codes labeled high-risk. Profit margins falling below 1%. St. Louis has lost over 300,000 residents since the 1970s. But in 2026, the city is losing something even more vital: food access. North St. Louis is now one of the largest food deserts in the Midwest. Residents travel 5 to 9 miles for groceries. Corner stores charge 30 to 70% more per item. Poverty rate, 23%. Food insecurity, 27%, one of the highest in the region. Grocery stores were once anchors of community life. Now their disappearance is tearing neighborhoods apart, quietly, street by street. Behind the bright lights, a growing desert. Las Vegas is a city known for abundance. Bright casinos, endless nightlife, massive tourism. But away from the Strip, 2026 reveals a far darker picture. Dozens of grocery stores have disappeared. In 2025, Las Vegas lost 15 plus locations. By early 2026, more closures hit East Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Spring Valley. Why? Because operating a store here has become brutally expensive. Commercial rent up 35%, electricity bills exceeding $31,000 per month. Summer cooling costs skyrocketing, insurance premiums up 40 to 55%. Food prices nearly 20% higher than 2022. The result? Entire neighborhoods now rely on dollar stores, gas stations, convenience marts, where nutrition is almost non-existent. Families without cars face 4 to 6 mile trips for groceries. Many have resorted to eating cheaper, unhealthy food because that is all that is available. Behind the billion-dollar casinos lies a city where thousands struggle to buy bread. 9. Los Angeles, California. The collapse hidden behind palm trees. Los Angeles enters 2026 with one of the most severe retail breakdowns in America. In 2025, more than 20 grocery locations shut down. 2026 has already added closures in South LA, Boyle Heights, Watts, North Hollywood, Van Nuys. The numbers behind the collapse: rent, $60 to $65 plus per square foot. Electricity, $38,000 per month. Labor costs rising, theft up nearly 100% since 2021. Insurance premiums rising 70% plus. Food inflation 27% in 3 years. LA's wealthiest neighborhoods still have luxury organic retailers, but working-class districts are becoming massive food deserts. Public transit can't fill the gap. Delivery services cost more than families can afford. Food insecurity in Los Angeles County has reached 25%, one of the highest nationwide. The city known for glamour and abundance is slowly dividing into two worlds. 8. Atlanta, Georgia, the Southern Divide. Atlanta, the economic engine of the South, steps into 2026 facing a grocery crisis spreading across zip codes like wildfire. More than a dozen stores closed in 2025. Early 2026 added shutdowns in South Atlanta and DeKalb County. Why? Because the economics no longer make sense. Electricity cost $27,000 plus per month, commercial rent up 38%, wholesale food inflation approximately 20%, labor costs rising, shrinkage costing $9,000 per week. Atlanta's biggest vulnerability is its geography. A single store closure can isolate tens of thousands because of the city's vast sprawl. Residents now travel 5 to 8 miles for groceries, often with limited public transit, spending $50 to $70 per week in rideshare fees. Hospitals report rising diet-related diseases, directly tied to disappearing supermarkets. Atlanta in 2026 is becoming a tale of two cities, one with abundance, one with hunger. 7. Cleveland, Ohio. The slow collapse reaches its breaking. Cleveland enters 2026 battling the worst grocery crisis in its modern history. Major chains like Giant Eagle, Dave's Markets, and several independents have cut locations. Early 2026 saw new closures in Glenville and West Cleveland. The crushing financial burden: utilities, $22,000 plus per month. Transportation cost, up 40%. Wholesale food inflation, persistent rent rising slowly but steadily. Poverty rate, nearly 30%. Neighborhoods already struggling with poverty now face complete grocery collapse. Food banks report record high demand, serving 25 to 35% more families. Emergency boxes multiple times a week. New lines forming hours before opening. Entire districts, Slavic Village, Glenville, Clark Fulton, have lost their last remaining full-service grocery stores. In Cleveland, the collapse isn't sudden. It is slow, constant, quiet, and devastating. By early 2026, the collapse of America's grocery system has already devastated dozens of communities. But the cities you're about to see now represent the worst of the worst. These are the 6 U.S. cities where food access is collapsing the fastest, where entire districts are becoming food deserts, where families travel miles for bread, and where the grocery industry is pulling out at a speed no one thought possible. 6. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a city losing its cornerstones. Philadelphia enters 2026 with a grocery landscape that is collapsing from within. Once thriving chains like ShopRite, Fresh Grocer, and national brands have now cut multiple stores. And early 2026 closures in North and West Philadelphia have pushed vulnerable communities into deeper hardship. The financial pressure: 2026 data. Commercial rent, $38 to $42 per square foot. Electric bills, $31,000 to $33,000 per month. Shrink theft losses, $8,000 to $10,000 per week. Insurance premiums rising, 50 to 60%. Wholesale food inflation, still 17 to 19%. Employee wage costs rising. Even large retailers cannot survive these numbers. Margins of 1 to 2% simply disappear. The human impact: neighborhoods like Kensington, Hunting Park, Nicetown, Tioga, Southwest Philly, West Philly now face 5 to 10 mile round trips for groceries. Families take 2 buses, 60 to 90 minutes, and pay extra fees they can't afford. Corner stores have replaced supermarkets, but sell food at 40 to 60% higher cost per calorie and mostly ultra-processed items. Philadelphia's food insecurity rate is now 27%, the highest in Pennsylvania history. 5. Baltimore, Maryland. From deserts to dead zones. Baltimore enters 2026 facing a food access collapse so extreme that federal researchers classify some districts as food dead zones, areas where no fresh groceries exist within miles. 2025 brought more than a dozen closures. 2026 has added shutdowns in East Baltimore, West Baltimore, and Hamilton. The forces destroying Baltimore's grocery system: utilities, $28,000 to $29,500 per month. Insurance companies exiting high-crime zip codes, Shrinkage, theft, $12,000 to $16,000 per week. Rent up 34% since 2021. Poverty exceeding 35% in some districts. High crime, high premiums, retailer exit. Retailers cannot operate in areas where insurance won't cover them. Losses exceed profit, security risks, make customers feel unsafe. This deadly combination is pushing Baltimore into a humanitarian spiral. Neighborhoods most impacted: Sandtown, Upton, Broadway, East Clifton Park, Roseman. These were already food deserts. In 2026, they are deeper, wider, more dangerous. Residents now travel 6 to 9 miles for groceries, often 2 hours round trip, many walking through unsafe areas or paying $20 plus per rideshare visit. 4. Memphis, Tennessee, the survival crisis. Memphis begins 2026 deeply entrenched in a grocery collapse that has transformed entire communities into food-scarce zones. More than 10 major stores shut down in 2025. Early 2026 has added closures in South Memphis, Orange Mound, Whitehaven, Fraser. The economic reality behind the shutdowns. Utility bills, $26,000 to $27,000. $500 per month insurance, up 50 to 60% in risky districts. Supply chain costs remain 20 to 25% above pre-pandemic levels. Shrinkage and security incidents rising. Poverty rate, 25%. These financial pressures destroy any chance for margins. What little profit stores make disappears instantly. The results: a public health emergency. Families now rely on fast food, dollar stores, gas stations for everyday meals. Doctors in Shelby County report rising diabetes, pediatric malnutrition, severe hypertension, heart risk increases, food-related illnesses in children. Memphis is not only losing grocery stores, it is losing its foundation of public health. Human impact examples. A single mother in Orange Mound now spends $40 on ride shares, 90 minutes of travel, just to buy vegetables. Thousands face similar struggles daily. 3. Kansas City, Missouri, the invisible collapse. Kansas City enters 2026 with one of America's least reported but most devastating grocery collapses. More than a dozen grocery stores shut down across the metro in 2025. 2026 has added closures in Wyandotte County, East Side South. KCY Kansas City stores are failing. Utilities, $24,000 to $25,000. $500 per month insurance, up nearly 50%. Shrinkage, $7,000 to $9,000 per week. Rent rising, long shipping distances, increasing food prices. Poverty concentrated in large pockets. The geography problem: Kansas City is vast. Miles of low-density communities. This means when one grocery store closes, tens of thousands lose access. Families without cars now face 8 to 10-mile journeys for basic groceries. Public transit is unreliable. Ride shares are costly. Gas prices remain high. Food insecurity has reached 24%, the highest KC has seen in decades. 2. Chicago, Illinois, America's most alarming urban breakdown. Chicago enters 2026 with one of the most catastrophic grocery collapses in the country. More than 20 grocery stores shut down in 2025. 2026 has brought new closures across Englewood West, Garfield Park, Austin, North Lawndale, South Shore. These are not temporary closures. They are permanent exits by major retailers. The cost structure crushing Chicago. Electricity, $33,000 to $35,000 per month. Rent, up 40% since 2020. Insurance, up 70%, highest in Midwest. Shrinkage doubled since 2021. Labor costs among highest regional supply chain costs remain elevated. Walmart, Whole Foods, and Aldi have reduced Chicago locations, an unimaginable reality just a few years ago. The human cost to Chicago's. There is Chicago of abundance, high-rises, gourmet stores, $8 lattes, tech campuses. Chicago of scarcity, food deserts, boarded buildings, multiple bus transfers for groceries. Families in the South and West Sides now travel 6 to 8 miles, 2 to 3 buses, 1 to 1.5 hours for food. Food insecurity has passed 22%, affecting nearly 500,000 people. San Francisco enters 2026 as the #1 city facing the worst grocery collapse in America. In 2025, over a dozen stores shut down. Early 2026 has brought new closures in Bayview Mission, Tenderloin Hunters, Point South of Market, Soma. The financial reality of SF retail. Rent, $70 to $75 plus per square foot. Utilities, $40,000 to $42,000 per month. Insurance, up 50%. Theft, $8,000 to $12,000 weekly. Labor regulations among strictest in the U.S. Homelessness, Sheer urban safety issues hurting operations. Even Whole Foods abandoned a flagship store in 2025, and 14 months later, it still hasn't returned. The human consequences neighborhoods like Bayview and Tenderloin now face: 4 to 6 mile minimum trips, long waits, high transit costs, limited access to healthy food. Food insecurity is now 19%, unimaginable for a city with billionaires on every block. Food banks report 40% increase in demand daily lines around buildings. Rising number of working poor needing assistance. San Francisco represents the final warning, a city of extraordinary wealth, struggling to provide its people the most basic human need, food. As America steps deeper into 2026, the collapse of grocery access is no longer a trend. It is a nationwide crisis, a crisis built by rising costs, inequality, and the fragility of essential systems we once believed would never fail. If this continues, millions more Americans may soon face a reality where groceries are not a short drive away, but a long, exhausting journey.